Good afternoon. I've been advised, against my better judgment, to loosen an already loose rule of man, known as the no deterred twice rule. Its usefulness as a rule is still applicable but not limitless. It's possible that it's holding me back in some way. Sometimes there is enough gold in them thar hills to justify making it mine.
You mean a mine?
Yes, a mine.
It's a joke.
Yes, it's a joke.
The setup wasn't very clear.
You think you're bloody helping?
No, you're...
Dickhead. There's a universe where I'm alive, and it's all your fault. Get on with it!
Very good morning to you.
Oh, God, no!
Alright, so one of us is being Janice Fiamengo, and the other is being...
I don't care. I'm being a brick. I'm being an eyeball on a fried egg. I'm being an egg. But I am not doing this balderdash again.
Yes, you are. I'm making you do it. I'm literally making you do it.
Then why are you making me argue with you?
Will you shut up? Oh, my God.
Can I just ask, what war is this that we're all fighting?
Fuck off!
Maybe we should argue on the same side like this. It might be funny or something.
Never! I'd sooner eat my own mouth than team up with you and your infernal...
We've already started, so...
Fuck you!
Let me ask you, what are the key things?
They're called fobs.
I mean, are you, at your heart, are you a feminist who believes in equality, or are you against equality?
What a surprise, Mr. Morgan. You still can't see through the false dichotomies of your binary worldview. If you're talking about a complicated and many-faceted problem such as politics, and you find yourself instinctively reducing everything down to two possible solutions, and they always happen to be your way or the highway, then you are not fit to discuss such a complicated and many-faceted problem. You may speak as much as you wish, but nobody has any ethical obligation to take your ideas seriously until they show some signs of increasing in resolution to more than 2 pixels.
For what it's worth, my answer is C, neither A nor B. Let's start with A. I am not a, quote, feminist who believes in equality, end quote. Moreover, whatsoever I may call myself, it does not matter if I profess a belief in equality, nor does it even matter if this profession is genuine or not. What matters is the degree to which my actions and my statements actually constitute egalitarian equations. That's kind of a double equals, which may behave like a double negative, we're not sure. As for B, am I against equality? If by equality you mean everybody is equal, then I certainly disagree. You can fucking measure them with a tape measure, or with twigs if you're a noob. It's very easy. If you don't believe in measuring, I can't help you. You can hypothesize about the non-material all you like, but if we're talking about material things and you won't even measure them, I'm out. I don't know how to even talk to you. One of us is in the wrong universe. Yeah, and if you want to create a world where everyone is equal, like literally everyone measures exactly the same in every dimension, then yes, I am against that. That is equality of outcome, and it sounds to me like the ravings of a genetically homogeneous species from another solar system. Whereas if by equality you mean everybody should be treated equally under the law, regardless of sex, race, or class, then I am not against it. I am enthusiastically in favour of it. That is equality of opportunity. It sounds to me like actual progress from an actual, like, earthling. So there are multiple possible interpretations of equality here. Some of them are mutually exclusive. And the dictionary will not help us because there are also multiple dictionaries with, you guessed it, mutually exclusive definitions. So it is imperative that before I give my answer to B, I am furnished with an expansion on its terms. First, tell me what you mean. It is the same as my answer to the questions, are you left/right/atheist?
You talk too much.
You weigh too much.
Your arm weighs too much.
That's not an insult.
Yes, it is. There are multiple possible interpretations of insult here.
Oh, fuck off.
What's happened is...
Silence!
You can try as hard as you like to be on the same side,
I
Piers,
said
but-
silence!
Look, we're supposed to be putting on a united front here, especially given the IRL premise that we're the same person.
That's no reason to present unity.
What?
A man should not be unified with himself. He should be torn apart like curtains every time he wakes up in the morning and realizes what a foul creature he must be. He must prostrate himself before the gods of...
That is actually at the heart of feminism.
Will you shut up?
Feminism has been hijacked.
Feminism has been hijacked, but the heart of feminism has not been hijacked. Okay, that's not illogical, but nevertheless I disagree. If a hijacking has taken place, they've hijacked the plane and its engines, and its wings and its cabins and its landing gear and its fuselage and even the little bits of snotty, balled-up tissue paper wedged between the seats. There is no heart in this vehicle that is not being commandeered by the hijackers. But the hijackers appear to have hijacked it on day one. As a matter of fact, they just walked into the cockpit unopposed, wearing pilot uniforms. And they proceeded to fly this plane directly to its intended destination.
And I've got some issues with the more radical end of the feminism world, although I personally identify as a feminist.
Interesting. You know, radical means from the root, right? Not from the fringe. You might have things a little topsy-turvy there, but tally-ho, that's what happens sometimes in the evolution of language. By radical, I'll assume you mean too far, too rich for my blood, that sort of thing.
I do have issues with the more radical arm of feminism. I think some of it is just, grotesque. But at my heart, I am a feminist who believes absolutely in all forms of gender equality.
He's one of yours, feminists. Remember that. Piers Morgan may occasionally speak out against the obvious, but that doesn't mean he's on whatever team or whatever grouping in which you might put the likes of me, for example. Fundamentally, he is on your team.
Feminism at its heart, the literal translation of what the feminist movement originally began as, was a fight for equality.
Then why do you have a problem with radical feminists? If feminism just means equality, then radical feminism just means radical equality. Why do you have a problem with radical equality? Surely the sooner we reach equality, the better. So the more radical, the better. Right? Do you think the radical feminists, the ones who literally want all men dead, do you think those feminists are moving too quickly towards equality? And sure enough, if you remove one gender, what you have left over will be more equal. But the means of getting there will not involve equal treatment under the law for those men who are not yet dead. So some people would call that equality, and you can see why, but some people would not call it equality. I would not. I do not believe the ends justify the means. I believe the means disqualify the ends. If you want to kill half of everyone, that's your prerogative, but in principle, I would call it the very opposite of equality. Could it be said, Piers, that these feminists are not moving us towards equality at all? Is it possible that some feminists are in fact moving us further away from equality, despite the things they claim about their beliefs? Is it possible that some feminists are mistaken in their apprehension of equality?
Yes.
Right, I agree. But presumably, you only think some of them are mistaken. I think most of them are mistaken. That we can argue about. That would make a constructive conversation. We don't have to discuss, what we're going to do about these mistaken feminists that we both agree exist. If you like, we could just discuss this one number. It could be 1%, it could be 99%, it could be exactly 50% of feminists who are mistaken in their approach to equality and have in fact become ideologically inegalitarian. I don't know, perhaps nobody knows, but at least we can discuss it. What about 86%? Hey, that's not my final answer, but I'm going to throw it out there for the sake of argument. 86% of feminists are mistaken. A valid response from you, Piers, might be something like, that's far too high. I'd say it's 11% at best. Or you could even just say, I think that's too high, and leave it at that. Even that would be something to add to the conversation, something that moves it forward. But it moves nothing forward to say. It's technically 0% when you accept that feminism necessarily means equality 100% of the time. Yeah, it's a pointless thing to say. Absurdly pointless. Disturbingly pointless. If my auntie had bollocks, she'd be my uncle. Therefore bollocks. It's a nothing statement. It's a burger made of wasting my fucking time. And you don't believe it, Piers. You don't believe 0% is the correct figure, and yet you're trying to get us to conclude that it is by introducing an irrelevant and inapplicable technicality. Why are you introducing an argument that can only conclude 100% of feminists to be benevolent egalitarians when you know this is not the case? What in the ham-sized fuck are you doing?
Trying to talk over you, rather ironically.
Oh, yeah.
Right, well, don't. It seems clear, Piers, that as far as you're concerned, the feminists you approve of are egalitarian, but the feminists you disapprove of are in-egalitarian, regardless of the literal definition or whatever. Well, I'm saying the same thing, Piers. I believe the same premise as you. I just estimate it at a different ratio. You are trying to convince your audience of something that even you don't believe. You're not having any, crisis of faith at all. You don't believe in this God, but it's very important that your flock does. How the fuck do you do that? Does it not at least give you a headache?
OK, let's bring in...
Yes, let's bring in the prophets before we are done with the law.
Actually, the feminist movement really began with Emmeline Pankhurst, the suffragette, who fought for the right of equality of a vote in this country. That's really where it started.
Ahem. Racist. You what? You can't just say that like it's an argument. Well, shit, brother, we got a lot of pamphlets to print.
So when you say that it started from a position of superiority, Emmeline Pankhurst wasn't fighting to be superior to men.
She was fighting not to be inferior.
She was fighting the complete opposite. She didn't want to be inferior to men. She wanted women to have the same right to vote. That's how it began.
Ahem. If the first wave of feminists had been concerned about equality, why didn't they campaign for the right to vote for the millions of men who couldn't vote while they were conducting their campaign? Fixed.
What's that got to do with it?
What?
What's that got to do with it?
It's not equal treatment under the law.
What's that got to do with it?
Therefore, it is evidently not about equality.
What's that got to do with it?
Equality is what we were talking about. I'm done with this bit.
What will I learn if I pay my $999 to turn up and be talked to by men about how to be a good woman?
Well, once you're there, having paid $1,000 to listen to men, you're probably going to say to yourself, well, I've paid money for this. I'm not leaving until I've listened to some men. That unlikely convergence of events might be the only thing that will ever get you to listen to men. Listening to people who are not like you might help you become a better person, but it might not. Some people are just gone. Plain gone. Some people are born gone.
I had as many children as I wanted, and I've got a career, so I'm not sure what you're...
Oh, Jesus wept, you're doing it again, aren't you?
I can't turn up to your lecture. I'm a mother with a successful career.
Then don't. Don't turn up to the conference. You are welcome, but it's entirely optional. Is that a problem? I'm very pleased for you. No, really, I'm over the fucking moon that you've got yours, Jack. But I'm helping people who do need help. And they exist in the same bloody universe as you. Is this your usual reaction to people helping other people who need help?
Hi, I'm raising money for blind children.
Well, I'm not blind. I have 20/20 vision, so do my children. I bought this bracelet in Harrods. I like grapes, and then you trail off again. I mean, do you hear yourself? I'm rich, so I don't understand why you would help the poor. What kind of vicious cunt does this? And in the same series of unhushed breaths, you claim to stand for equality. So you may take this so-called little translation of yours, Piers, and scrub it down your kitchen sink along with the rest of the shit, blood and cum. The grotesque feminism you speak of is sat right fucking next to you. She claims to believe in equality, but her idea of equality is I'm rich, I have everything, what have you done for me lately? And I won't advise you to rebel against it, Mr. Morgan, because you know as well as I do that you cannot.
I'm quite an expert at being mansplained to. I'm quite an expert at being mansplained to. I'm quite an expert at being mansplained to. Your future is mansplaining to women, mansplaining to women, I don't hate any men.
So, I still can't remember your name, But so what's it like being worse than Piers Morgan? Do you ever sort of catch yourself realising that? I mean, he's detestable. The man is made of slime. I say that because he's an influential and powerful shyster, but to you, he's baldric. He's that lowly peasant dog's body that you get to mock and shame to your heart's content. And he's Piers fucking Morgan. Like, does the sheer scale of that ever worry you at all?
Hang on, that's not true.
Shut up, Piers. You're mansplaining again. All right, good night, folks. There is no ending. I lost the ending behind this end of the sofa. Fuck, good enough, y'all.